Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Smart and Safe Small Business Podcast. I'm here today with Chris Shipferling, who is a managing partner with Global Wired Advisors. With over 20 years of experience working for a household investment bank such as Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Deutsche Bank, in addition to various hedge funds, Global Wired is uniquely equipped to be your trusted guide whether you're looking to scale or an eventual exit. Global Wired has over 70 years and hundreds of billions, billions with a B, hundreds of
Mhm.
billions of dollars of investment banking, e-commerce, platform building, and M&A experience, and have brought their Wall Street experience to small business America. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
So tell me, Chris, who's your ideal client? Who do you typically work with?
Hey, a great question. So, the type of client we're working with is a growing, maturing, cash flowing company. Usually their EBITDA is going to range anywhere between, 1.5 to, 5 million is our sweet spot. We do go higher in terms of who we work with. In fact, we're, looking at an engagement going to market next month that is in the eight figures for EBITDA. So they're an e-commerce or digitally native brand. They've got presence probably through the marketplaces. That's going to be Amazon, Walmart, et cetera. And then we also work and focus our industry practice areas or focus are going to be e-commerce, digitally native brands, SaaS, and then also digital agencies. Those are our three main focuses. So that's our ideal client.
And tell me, what is one specific problem that you help your clients solve?
Well, everybody starts a business with an exit in mind. Now, there are a few folks who say, no, I'm just starting a business and I'm going to keep this business for a long time and I'm going to pass it along to my kids. And that's fine, but you're very rare in this day and age. Most folks are looking to start a business and they're looking towards an eventual exit. And so the problem that our clients have is they've got two choices in the marketplace when they're ready for that exit. They can either go to a conventional business broker or they've got to go really far upstream to a middle market investment bank. And for us, as you mentioned in the bio and in the introduction, we're bringing that Wall Street experience, that institutional investment banking experience, and we're bringing it to the lower middle market, specifically digital assets. And we're helping a company that, as I just described in your last question, we're helping them grab and yield the best outcome when it comes to an exit. That's effectively the problem.
So what are some typical symptoms of business owners or businesses? What are some typical symptoms they're experiencing when they're trying to sell their business that could be leading indicators that things aren't going right, they aren't getting out of it what they really should be?
Yeah, great question. I mean, look, it's being able to, take an expert's eye and dig through the financials, dig through what the true opportunity of the business is. A lot of conventional business brokers, the way that they value a business and the way they position a business is, let's look at the history very quickly and kind of, here's what the business is right now. And for us, we're coming in and we're doing lots of diagnostics in all functions of that particular business to see exactly where there's value and then where there is quote unquote hiccup for getting maximum value out of the business. And so our job isn't to just try and get all these clients under our belt and see what happens when they go to market. Our job is let's be your partner. Let's see what needs to change. Let's see what you're doing good. Let's see what you're not doing well. Let's give you resources to help fix that. And then also let's be honest to see if you're even ready to go to market right now.
And tell me, what are some common mistakes that business owners make when they're trying to sell their business?
Common mistakes. Oh man, that's a great question. There's several of them. I'd say one, not realizing that they need clean books. That's really important. Not understanding their liabilities. And part of that is their tax liability. I'm sure you know that very, very well.
I do.
That's definitely a mistake. Third, they assume that their business is worth more than what it really is. And, they've been told that it is just because you've got someone who wants to sell that business and they really just want that business. You don't have someone actually telling them the honest truth about where they currently stand in the capital markets. Yeah, I would say those are some top mistakes I think people have, and I would probably call them a little bit more of misconceptions, in terms of being ready for an exit. It's really important to talk to the right intermediary that can truly dig into your business and all functions of your business to give you the right diagnostics.
So there's a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of potential pitfalls, hiccups, and mistakes that a business owner can make. What is one free action that a business owner listening to this can do today or this week to have a more successful potential close in the future?
I said this actually earlier to a client. Don't assume you are great at something. Be humble enough to hire an expert. Don't try and figure out, okay, maybe I have a tax liability. Let me go try and figure this out myself. Please don't do that, because it'll end up a lot worse than better. And it will be completely different than what you think it's going to be. And that same principle, I think flows into other functions. So for instance, if it's around scaling your business, don't just assume you're the expert at scaling. Don't assume you're the expert at managing your numbers and your P&L and L and your balance sheet. Please trust experts. They're not predatory. They're not trying just to gain your business. They're there for a reason, and you should trust them. So that's my valuable free action.
Yeah, absolutely. You just don't know what you don't know. And if it requires investment banking or attorneys or tax or accounting, unless it's your full-time thing or you love it, just pay someone to do it the right way the first time. That's what
Well,
I
I mean,
say.
look, and I'll talk about you for a moment. I mean, you and I have had several conversations, and just hearing some of the credentialing that you've had to go through. I mean, it's extensive, and it's extensive for a reason. And so, yes, it's very important to trust people who are experts.
Absolutely. So what is one free resource that you would point listeners to if they're interested in learning more about the sale process, the buying process, or working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So good news is we've done a really good job at making sure we show up number one when you Google our name, Global Wired Advisors. And so I would say come to us. We can do effectively a free or complimentary consultation on your business. We dig in. We ask a lot of the right questions. We ask the most important questions when it comes to exit strategy or exit planning. And we're going to point you to the right resources in order to either scale, fix the problem, and make sure that you're prepped for market. Great. For instance, someone comes along and we realize fairly quickly that they may have a tax liability. I'm going to send them to you, Alex. So, we've got other resources as well, depending on what needs to be done for that particular business, depending on what the prognosis is. We're going to send them to our vetted resources. And so it's very important to first get in touch with us.
And how can listeners do that?
Yeah, so like I said, number one, go to our website, Google Global Wired Advisors. That's number one. My email address is pretty easy. It's just cs@globalwiredadvisors.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. All of these things it's very easy to find me. And once you do, I can definitely help and point people in the right direction and also give them great advice when it comes to exit planning.
That's great. So final question here. What's one question that I should have asked you, but I didn't, and the answer as well?
Um, huh. Why are you different than your competition?
Yeah. So why are you different from your competition?
Great question, Alex. A couple reasons. One, we are able to holistically provide lots of value to our client before they go to market, which in turn helps our process, which is very detailed, very thorough when going to market. We yield the best outcome for that particular client. And a lot of it is predicated on our experience. A lot of it's predicated on the way that we position your company and also predicated on our process. And so we know, based on the data that we've been able to see, we are indexing higher multiples when it comes to an exit and also a better structure and outcomes for our clients.
So quick follow-up question. When you say outcomes, how do you measure outcomes? Is it based on the multiple, the total valuation,
Yep.
e
It's
ease?
a little bit of it is straightforward, a little bit of it is subjective. And so the objectivity is multiple structure, and then the subjectivity is making sure we put your deal in front of the right acquirers, the right counterparties, because that matters, right? It's more than, sometimes I'll leave it here with you. Sometimes it's more than just the cash at the table.
Absolutely. You want to make sure that your baby is being taken care of when you let it go, right?
That's right. Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Really
Yeah.
appreciate your
Hey,
time here today.
thanks, man.